Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to Watching Walford. Hello fellow watchers and enjoyers. Ash and Piggy here from Watching Walford to bring you yet another edition of Watching Walford. It's episode 25. And like we said last week, we're only one way from the halfway point of the EastEnders year, and the year in general. It's absolutely wild. Today's episodes are going to cover the biggest storylines and takeaways from week 25 of 2023, all the episodes ranging from the 19th of the 6th all the way to the 22nd of the 6th. The storylines we're going to be focusing this week are Vinny's lesbian paranoia and him trying to kill Eve. That title just makes me laugh. Ben's eating disorder taking over. Lily and Ricky getting rattled by Denzel, and kind of starting to include Theo. And obviously, the biggest one, who is Rose Knight? And well, fucking Cindy Beale's back, baby.
Woo.
How's it going, Piggy?
I'm just gonna shoot on after a little bit for people who don't know. This is part one for us. We are like the Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse and beyond the Spider-Verse. We're splitting this into two parts of recording. So I'm not saying we're bigger than the show, but we're fucking bigger than the show. Obviously you fans won't care about that because obviously there won't be, for you guys, there won't be an cut. And then here's part two. Obviously Ash will just smooth the pavement and I'll just go right into part two.
Exactly.
I'm doing well. I'm currently eating my lunch. So if you hear some munching on like carrots, I'm just...
Oh,
and chicken,
carrot.
I'm just... Yeah, carrots.
Lovely, mate.
And some chicken. Don't mind me.
Slightly weird mix, but fair enough.
Well, it looks like vegetables and chicken. Like.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's just it's just the fact that the carrots were isolated. Yeah, I'm eating carrots and chicken. I'm like, oh, what? I forgot to start the timer.
Racially motivated chicken. Just like
Fucking hell. Well, I already forgot to time the segments. We're doing great here on the podcast.
But I'm doing well. It's been a fun week for EastEnders. I don't know if we're live watching next week because I only want to live watch next Tuesday, or just pre-film it next Tuesday and upload it, because for people who don't know, next Tuesday is Lawless bye-bye.
Lawless funeral. Yeah, so we'll see. Otherwise, mate, what else is going on? Not much. We've just been busy all week.
Well, I got my new sunglasses.
Nice.
I'm enjoying them. Currently enjoying this chicken. Not much happened. Obviously, there's one fan who really loves us. Said that we're bigger than the show. So
we are. We are bigger than the show.
Yeah, we are. Like one of us has 640 followers.
Exactly.
On Twitch, and one of us has 1,100 followers on Instagram.
Exactly.
So of course we're bigger than the fucking show. You follow.
Fuck you, fans.
Fuck you, fans.
Well, my week's
I'm
been alright.
Yeah, how's your week been?
It's been busy. It's been slightly strained, I must admit. About halfway through all the streams and stuff, because if you haven't been seeing what's been going on, we've been doing Love Island for the last about 20 days or some shit. And we decided to opt for more coverage of Who is Rose Knight week, so we've been doing a video a day, and we did a live stream yesterday, and I also got some other shit edited to go out on the channel soon. And I got hit with a, what the fuck's the point in any of this? I'm like, not now. Just do it on the weekend or something. Not now. I've got shit I need to do. And so Piggy's like, are you ready? And I'm like, fucking not ready at all, mate. But we got there in the end.
Basically, if people want to know how our conversations go, it's either how are you, or are we doing EastEnders content, or are you just relaxing? And then Ash is like, but I want to stream the soaps, not the episodes now. So the stuff on Twitch, and I'm like, right. But the great stuff is where we stream the bollocks. The soap stuff we stream on YouTube, and Ash is like, sit down, child. I fucking run this channel. Know your work. And I'm like, okay. I just wanted to say, no, you didn't want anything. This is a democracy. I run this country. I fucking rule this country. I am the Prime Minister. I am the King.
I'm just laughing because I know it's how these conversations go. No, but we agreed that we stream on YouTube. Basically, the reason I didn't like to stream on YouTube is because the last time I did it, I forgot to press the end stream button on YouTube, so the stream went on for like 6 hours somehow. Like, the Soap Awards stream went on for like 6 hours because I just forgot to press the button. So I think it was just the ending looped. Obviously, I sorted it so nobody knew, but yeah. Also, decided to upgrade my PC, and today is the day that it should be happening. Hence why we're recording the podcast early, because the second my RAM comes in, I'll be like, yo, Jake, we're building this shit. So yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. It's gonna be fun. Gonna mean that all of the stuff I do just runs a lot smoother. Any PC nerds out there, I'm upgrading my CPU, and that CPU pretty much holds back the rest of the rig. You know, like it's the worst part, and it's about time. So yeah, gonna do that. Gonna have 32 gigs of RAM. The editing's gonna go clean. It's not gonna take as long. It's gonna be lovely stuff, mate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of good in a world full of shit. No, it's been fine. The coverage has been fun. It's just sometimes your brain just goes, are you really enjoying this? And the answer is yes. But at the time, the answer is no.
Like, we've no problem doing this. Like, it's not a problem. It's just the fact that we both are anxious and our minds think for us.
Yeah.
There's another way, like, it's supposed to think for yourself, but our minds think for us. So, like, we're like, yeah, we're excited, and then the brain comes in, it's like, no, you're not. You're fat. You're ugly. You're stupid. This means nothing. You wake up and then you die. Shut up and don't do it.
Plus, like, I suppose historically for me, I also have, like, a tendency to, like, I'll have that thought of, like, is this really fucking worth it? And then I'll, like, give up on the project, and then I'll, like, fucking... And then, like, a couple months after, I'll be like, man, why do I have to keep building up shit from the ground? And then it's like, yeah, but you just dumped the last project. It was going fine. Yeah, well, you know. But this is probably the longest serving one I've done, other than my streaming, so that's fun.
Poor Sad is in the corner.
Already crying. But regardless, Piggy, anything else before we start this show?
No, let's start part one for us.
Alright, so the first topic is Vinny's lesbian paranoia and him trying to kill Eve. Throughout Monday's episode, Vinny is really like watertight to Sookie and Eve, and by the end of the episode, he cuts the brake pipes on Felix and Finley's car, which they were going to give to Eve to go to Brighton. The whole time, Vinny's like kind of like looking at his mum like, you disgust me, but you better not go near her. If you do, I'll tell everyone. Because he's turned into like a weird like paranoid wreck. And essentially Sookie realizes and feels, listener, I may have said that I don't like her anymore, but I'm not having her die and crash. So she goes to pop the tire, and to save both Vinny and Eve, she pops the tire, and then this causes a bit of an issue. Because now Vinny's implicated himself in a fucking crime. And so is Sookie. Because when Sookie was doing it, she like held the handle of the car. It's got her fingerprints all over it. And in the later episodes, Sookie eventually goes, Ravi, I need you to intimidate Vinny to shut his hole. And he does. And that was Vinny's lesbian paranoia scaring him and wanting to kill Eve. How have you found this story this week, Piggy?
I had a chicken fucking thing stuck in my mouth. I found this story interesting. Obviously we don't know what happens tonight at the time of the recording.
Yeah.
So we might come back to this. Once it airs, obviously. So far it's going good. It's funny. Oh, sorry, to see Vinny be like, no, you're not a lesbian. You're a woman, and a woman marries a man, and she's just like, leave me alone.
Just like, mate, just stop it. Like, it's the weird way that his character's gone, because he went from being like he's a very big mummy's boy, and now he believes that he's the victim in his mum's game, when he's actually Nish's like he's just being fucking pulled and he's like Nish is the fucking washing machine, and Vinny's like, oh fucking hell guys, I'm still in it, just like bashing across the fucking walls. That's how much of a victim he is of Nish's parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that whole washing machine analogy.
I loved it. Loved every second of it.
But yeah, I suppose the most interesting part is obviously Suki and Ravi's kind of awkward, like, I need you to sort something, and then Suki, you know, they don't really have the best past, because as far as Suki knows, Ravi did save her from bollocks, his creepy fake not dad, Ranveer, saved her from Ranveer, but also tried to implicate her in the fucking crime. So, you know, maybe not the best idea. But I think if they keep working together, it'll lend to them kind of understanding that they both fucking hate Nish. And so they will probably just kind of like give up. Just like, fuck this. I've had enough. I do feel like Ravi will be the one to kill Nish in the end. Whether he's the dead body on the floor or not, I don't think it is. But I don't think Nish makes it out of the year alive. That's my prediction. Anything else to add, mate?
It'll be funny if, like, Vinny kills Eve and then he's like, well, you can never be a lesbian, mom. And then she just shags another woman.
Yeah. And she just shags Vinny's girlfriend. Eat shit. He never will. He's pathetic. I suppose one thing I would just take from online, obviously people, it's been a massive 180 because Vinny was quite sympathetic for a while. But now he's just become a full-blown, just deranged, like, gatekeeping fucking guard dog. Little chihuahua. And you know what, fair enough. It was about time they did something with the character. I wasn't expecting this to be the way that it would go, but honestly, it's setting up for something bigger, and he's kind of just a pawn in the Suki and Eve storyline at this point, so we're yet to see how it'll go, but I think it's an interesting time for it to, you know, we are ramping up, even if we're also, like, de-escalating, as Piggy likes to say. You know, we are still on the roller coaster, we're still going up, but we have been stopped about 4 times at this point.
Sorry, I had to wash my hands.
No, I respect that, mate. But I suppose this podcast probably going to be pretty light, because if you do want our genuine, like, immediate take, just watch the videos that come out after the EastEnders. They're all on the channel. So it's actually quite hard to make up more shit to talk about. So let's continue onwards as we discuss Ben's eating disorder. So Ben is still struggling this week, and he's kind of he's kind of trying to mold Lexi to do what he wants, but also isn't like strong enough to really just say, no, you're doing this. Like, because he'll always have Jay there being like, mate, what the fuck you on about? And this is highlighted in this week even more so because Ben doesn't want Lexi doing what he feels too much. That being her like speaking at the funeral and kind of like actually talking about it. And you know, fair enough, Ben did deal with losing his mum, even if she came back from the dead as such. She was because, you know, back in like 06-ish, maybe even 04. I think it's 06, where obviously Ben comes to live with Phil because Kathy died. So Ben knows what that like grief is and can actually relate to Lexi as to like a young kid losing their mum. But also he's a little bit too skittish to really come across as reasonable. And he's just kind of holding Lexi to his stage of grief, which just isn't really what you do. You just let her do what she wants. And Jay talks around and they go for a meal at Walford East to decide whether to help her with a speech at Lola's funeral or not. They say, you know what, maybe one of us can stand up there with you, you know. Maybe we'll do it together. Ben gets swayed to eat proper food, but when he can't use the toilets to throw up, he goes outside and leaves Lexi on her own. She eventually runs to find Billy, and Billy is of course furious as Ben is anxious to find her. Yeah, so not really the best way to earn dad points by leaving your kid in a crowded restaurant by herself. May have only been for a couple minutes, but still, she's like 10 years old.
Exactly.
And this then leads to an argument where Billy essentially went, listen, right, you weren't fucking here when Lola died, so you need to be there for her to rely on. And Ben gets angry, and then he does apologise, but Billy's like, mate, you need to do more than try. You can't just wishy-washy this shit anymore. She needs you, you're her dad, you're the only parent she's got left. All the Ballum stands will be crying in their boots, because Ben's just such a tragic character. He's not supposed... He's just ill right now. He's just so full of trauma. It's like, yeah, what about everybody else on this fucking square? They're all full of trauma. Who makes it a year on EastEnders without getting awful shit happen to them, you know? So yeah, Piggy, the eating disorder continues. How do you reckon it's shaping up right now?
All right, I guess. It's very hard to be like, well, the eating disorder is not real, is it now? It's all good. Like, it's going good. I don't like the approach where they're going with they want to make you feel bad for Ben, and just like, well, you have to feel sorry for him because his mom died, or Lexi's mom died. You have to feel sorry for Ben, not Lexi. Look at poor Ben, and you're like, I don't want to. I just don't want to.
Yeah, it's hard to care for Ben because like we've all said before, he is just, I'm sorry, does it again. I'm sorry, does it again. It's like, mate, you've had enough. You've had enough chances. You've been more of a prick in the last year than you have been nice. So we're not gonna say, he's just having a hard time. He's been having a hard time for the last 4 years. Like, you're supposed to grow and develop and change, and you may not be the same person, you may have the same light, but you're still you, and you can't always be fucking miserable.
Very true. He just likes to be miserable, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose they are doing it in interesting light. You can see Ben just always like, oh god, I ate food. This needs to go now. And you can see that he is looking a bit more ill, you know, he's looking a bit slimmer, he's looking a bit more like pale and like malnourished. I get, maybe not malnourished, let's be honest. But he is still kind of there. I am still worried that this will end up in a custody battle between him and Jay, as Ben's gonna keep fucking up because of his bulimia, and Jay's gonna suddenly realize and go, you aren't fit to be a parent.
Yeah,
So that,
I agree with him.
Yeah, that's probably where we're going with this. And it'll be interesting enough. I get that Ben's not had a lot to smile about. But even my biggest issue with the Ben Mitchell character is I feel like the writers don't understand how much shit they're putting him through, and then kind of relate it to a different story. Like, I don't know if you were there at the time, but when Ben and Callum like fully just decided they were going to get married, they went on this big like press tour, just like, oh, it's just two working class lads, and you know, they just found each other. They both had like kind of sheltered dads. They didn't really like him. And it's like, that's not the storyline, lads. Mate. Ben saw that Callum was potentially a bit gay, and then he like fucking cracked on with it, and eventually, by annoying him, an attraction built, and it was like, he was in a love triangle with a woman. It then turned out Callum had a tragic past where he had like an army mate who he did love but never said so. It wasn't just a story of two working class lads finding each other in a shit world. It was it was like a targeted attack that turned into a romance. And that's what I feel is kind of, that's why I feel the Ben Mitchell character has been kind of done in. Because in the writer's heads, that's, oh yeah, he's had a really rough time, but he's still Ben Mitchell. He's still the Ben Mitchell people love. And it's like, no, he's not. There we are. That's my little rant over the Ben Mitchell character again. Fuck you, Ballum stands.
No, I can say it.
Alright. Say it. Do it.
Fuck you, Ballum stands.
Thank you. It's just kind of, at this point, it feels like Callum deserves better, because the only time I see Callum actually talk to Ben, Ben's always in a fucking mood with him. It's like, he's just trying to work, man. Where are you two building your life? You're just living around Ben. That's not a relationship. That's a fucking, Callum is Ben's guardian or something. Like, where's the love?
There is no love.
Like, they never got to love each other. They just got to have more tragic Ben storylines and go through shit. But let's segue this forward into another slightly scary storyline. That being Lily and Ricky getting rattled by Denzel, which leads to more interference on Theo Hawthorne, Freddie's ex-teacher. So how does this kick off? Denzel is talking to Lily and Ricky about the parental meeting in a couple of weeks. It's been mentioned a bit. Stacey's like, it'll be fine, it's just a chat. But Denzel pretty much takes the role of Nugget, because if Nugget was in this scene, Nugget would have been the guy to say, yeah, well, the last time one of my mates did it, and the baby was taken away because you know, your skin, they can afford it, and so you're not going to afford it, and the baby's going to get fucking taken away from you. And obviously, Lily and Ricky go, fucking hell, what are we gonna do? And they have a genius decision to get Theo Hawthorne's number from Freddie, like through Nugget. And they arrange to meet him all of a sudden, and Theo casually gives him 50 quid and says, keep the trainers. Sorry? Excuse me?
He's just a quirky guy. You're misunderstanding his motto.
Like, if I texted one of my teachers and went, "Can I have 50 quid?" they'd say, "No, fuck off. Why you'd messaging me anyways? You hate me in school." "Yeah, but I need 50 quid, I'm pregnant." Ask your mum, you ball bag, not fucking me. It's just, fucking hell. It's such a weird storyline. Because now we're at a situation where people think that Theo is Stacey's like OnlyFans like person. But he's also portraying a very he's putting a lot of interest in Lily as a whole. So it's just kind of like, is this Theo's way of trying to like make Stacey like him? Or like, what the fuck are we doing here? Because it could be grooming, because he's using all the like textbook grooming lines. Like, oh, you know, we're just friends, you know, it's just a friend. It's our little secret. No, don't tell anyone. And like, Piggy, what are we doing here?
I don't know. I'm just telling you, he's just misunderstood. He's very quirky. You guys don't understand him like I do.
I'm getting gaslit on both sides. Yeah, fundamentally, pretty fucking. Nobody wants the grooming storyline. Well, I lie. The people who wanted Lily's baby to be a grooming storyline, people wanted that. People wanted Harvey to have groomed her. People wanted Freddie to have groomed her because they just didn't want to believe that it was just Ricky instead. And now oh Jesus!
It could still be Theo Hawthorne.
It's not. It's definitely Ricky. Let's be honest. But it's just, why? Why are we heading this way? But we are yet to know, and we'll obviously find out more. There is a video on the channel where we discuss the Theo storyline that should be coming out next Wednesday, I believe, unless any other videos need to come out more urgently. And there, we'll dish out more information once we actually know a little bit more, because this storyline is in its infancy, and we can't tell where it'll go, and they'll probably make it clearer, given a little bit of time. So, Piggy, would you like to retract your statement from the last week that Theo is just a quirky guy and is actually quite creepy?
See, I'm gonna keep hamming this up until it's revealed he's actually creepy, because I just want to be told, "I told you so." He is a creepy bastard. I'm just gonna keep hamming it up until eventually it's revealed he's creepy.
Yeah, until there's no way you can't say it.
Exactly. Like,
fair enough, mate. I like it.
He could murder a dog next week, and I'll be like, just quirky. It's just what every kid will do.
It's not his fault the dog ran into his car. Piggy, he hit him with a pickaxe. Ah, well.
Well, you know, as they say, a pickaxe
in a video game in Minecraft. Alright, I suppose, do we want to do a little bit in towards the setup towards who is Rose Knight?
Yes, we will do our first thoughts, and then we will talk about Thursday's episode in part 2.
Alright, exactly. So let's segue on. Who is Rose Knight, Part 1? So the setup for Rose Knight is Linda convinces Phil to dig on Rose Knight, and he finds out from Callum that there isn't anything dodgy about George. But the thing that's dodgy is that Rose Knight's case is confidential and locked. Phil wants to ask him about it, and just as Callum's asked about, like, the police goes, "Yo Callum, shut your fucking mouth, stop looking about Rose Knight or I'll fire you." Reasonable. Phil and George spar with Pads as he wants to know what who he's getting involved with. And yeah, just one funny thing to notice that I said I never expected Phil to look scared, but he looks terrified holding Pads for George.
He does. He does.
As I said before, Callum gets warned off searching police matters, and George tells him the same story, how she got up and left out of nowhere. and they shake hands. But when Callum tells Phil about the police, he believes he's been fed lies and wants to get to the bottom of it. On Wednesday's episode, Phil does a little more digging and tells George that Rose isn't actually dead after all. And in the final scenes of Wednesday's episode, George plays Kiss from a Rose by Seal and rings Rose one last time. And we see Cindy Beale sipping some wine in a villa of some sorts. Rose Knight is Cindy Beale. And fucking holy shit, mate. How did you find the reveal of Cindy Knight being Rose?
I just want to say something. I think on the YouTube dub, because you know they released the clips on YouTube. Yeah. I don't think they showed the song "A Rose from the Night" or whatever.
Kiss from a Rose.
A Kiss from a Rose. I don't think they had the song. They didn't. You can't really hear the song on the YouTube dub, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So they had to hide it.
Because I wanted to show my dad how corny it was, because it was
way. That's how the song starts. I said, "Kiss from a Rose." Ooh, it's like, George, how did you not know she wasn't real? If your name's Rose, you're not picking "Kiss from a Rose" as your song, you fucking dickhead. She's laughing at him right now. Oh, yeah. What's your favourite song? "Kiss from a Rose." Bit on the nose, isn't it? No.
Could you imagine? It is hilarious to imagine, just him sitting there, and he's in Shoreland's my favorite song is Tequila. Linda's favorite song is the fucking whatever Mick Carter's football team he supports theme.
West Ham.
Because she loves me. What?
West Ham.
Yeah, Linda's favorite song is West Ham's theme. And then it's you continue that, and then you go to George Knight. So what's your favorite song? A Kiss from a Rose. Because I think of Rose Knight.
And then Elaine sat there sorry.
Sorry? Yeah, well, she did things to my body that you could never do, Elaine, because you're old.
You love fuck. Seal. But I suppose, as we just carry this onwards, we'll do more of a reveal later on in the day. But for now, unless you have any more dying things you need to say about the Cindy Knight return,
I'm gonna say from what I've seen of Thursday's episode at the time of recording,
yeah,
obviously this is recorded before Thursday's episode, so we'll obviously come back to this topic when we've watched Thursday's episode. I've seen Ian Beale. He's working in a coffee shop in fucking France or Spain, wherever it's filmed. And I'm so you left Walford to just work in a coffee shop, and you found your wife.
He also got fat again. In his divorce, he was slim as fat. He's fat again, isn't he?
Do you want to see a photo of him from it?
Sure. Go on then.
I'll send. What I'll do is I'll send you the video, and you take a screenshot.
Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'll do it later. But as far as I can tell, yeah, he's definitely out of his divorce now, isn't he? So, having watched the episode live streamed on the channel, we're now back to discuss our thoughts on the episode that featured not just Cindy Beale, not just Ian Beale, Peter Beale as Thomas Law, the original and best Peter, and Lauren as well. Holy fucking shit. How's it going, Piggy? Welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast. I think we're on the podcast. That might be wrong.
We are on the podcast.
Yeah. Welcome back. It was a fun episode because we've just watched the episode. A lot to unpack. So,
yeah. Do you want me to get right into what happened? Wasn't able to take notes this time, so it is just all off the cuff. as of memory.
What happened was I can try and do this if you want me to.
Okay, give it a go, mate.
We open up with I'd assume Lauren's cab, or taxi, because it's taxi in England and Europe, and basically she's driving. So we get a drone shot of her cab driving, and then we cut to see Cindy Beale and a child. I forget the child's name. I'm sorry. Louis. I think.
Yes.
Louis. And basically we don't know that it's Louis at first, unless you're a hardcore EastEnders fan who's fucking.
Yeah, we were
Twitter.
sat there like, wait, hold on.
Who?
They have a fucking kid. They're too old for kids.
And then basically what they do is they basically spray Louis and Cindy spray Ian with water, and basically makes Ian, who's on a paddle pole, like he's on them things that you sit on it. Inflatable, obviously. I don't know why I'm exaggerating it. And basically he falls off into the river. We have a cheeky laugh. And then Lauren's cab arrives and Peter says she's arrived. And then Cindy, or Rose, I should call her Rose until she's actually Cindy again. Rose then has to go hide in the attic. Or not the attic, she just has to hide, basically. And then we see Lauren arrive. Lauren and Peter talk. And then basically for the next few scenes, we cut between seeing Ian and Cindy working on, I should say Rose, I keep saying Cindy, but it doesn't matter. We keep seeing Ian and Cindy at a stall. Ian has set up his own shop. It's called Ian's Baguette. He quickly puts the sign down because he also realizes, Jesus, that's corny for me. And I'm corny.
Yes.
I'm as corny as popcorn. And then so they have a little chat. Then we cut back to Lauren and Peter, and they're walking through the woods with I'll keep forgetting the child's name, Louis. And to correct me if I keep forgetting the child's name, I'm sorry. There's so many names here. It's like playing tennis.
Yeah, it's so like Piggy's not exactly been like a super long-term fan, so it was like, oh shit, that's Peter. Oh, I've only we've heard about Peter, but we haven't seen him in a while. So.
Yeah, so basically they're walking through the woods and they're reminiscing about times. Lauren obviously brings up the fact that Peter slept with Bobby's girlfriend, Dana. And then she gives him shit, basically.
I suppose just to kind of capsize this, obviously they're teasing like a romance again for Lauren and Peter, because Peter's kind of like, yes, I've done a lot of dodgy things, but I still love you. It's always been you. And Lauren's kind of, she's angry because he does some like destructive things, like he'll like sleep with Bobby's girlfriend and just like fuck over Kathy, and doesn't know that just yet, but she just doesn't believe that Peter's really changed, and Peter wants to prove that he has.
Yeah, he's trying to be a family man. We cut back to where we see an agent. Correct me if I don't know the agent's name. And basically, yeah, it doesn't matter anyways. We'll just call her Agent Lady.
Yes.
And basically, the Agent Lady just says, to put in my words, I need a chat with you. And before that, we see that Ian has seen a photograph of George Knight, Anna, and the other one, Tina, Linda, or whatever the fuck the other one's name is.
Gina,
sorry. I was close with Tina.
Workload.
And then he interrogates her. That's when we see the Agent Lady come in and she's like, need a chat with you two now. And then we cut to that. In between there was scenes again in the woods with Peter, Lauren and Louis. So she basically tells Cindy that look, you no longer have to be Rose Knight, because everyone that knew you,
the family who were like chasing you down, and everybody who knew what you did and like who you fucked over, they're all dead. They're all gone.
Yeah,
you're safe.
And the ones who are left, which is about 5 or 6, are just in strollers. They would not be able to kill you.
Yeah, they are. They are like just invalids, I believe is the kind of word for the.
And then basically, Ian, the agent goes, "Oh, I seen George Knight once from behind," and then Ian goes, "Yeah, me and Cindy go way back, longer than George Knight." And then the agent just goes, "Yeah, but didn't she shoot you once?"
Great line. Good EastEnders comedy right there.
And then we see Ian and Cindy kind of bicker because Ian wants to go back to Walford because he's just seen Bobby's gram post, because I assume they don't have the right to say Instagram. We'll just call it the gram. And he's just seen the fact that Bobby's hanging out with Freddie and he's living his best life in Walford. And basically, so he puts his phone down and he goes out to confront Cindy. And we see that he didn't see that George is in Walford with Gina
and Anna.
Cindy's children. And then, so they have an argument because Ian wants to go back to Walford. Because that's where as long as Ian Beale is alive, he's attached to Walford.
Exactly.
He is Walford. And then Cindy's like, "No, that's not my home. I wanted it there. People don't like me." And then obviously they have an argument. Cindy locks herself in a bathroom. Thought she was going to self-harm, to be honest. I don't know why. I thought she was going to self-harm.
Could have been a pretty huge, overwhelming thing. So.
Yeah. And then basically Ian either fakes a heart attack or has a heart attack.
No, he had a heart attack.
He has a heart attack. Insert Bret Hart music right now. And then we basically see that Lauren and Peter are making up. They're about to kiss, but then they get a phone call. And what happens? Ian goes to hospital. And in hospital, he's just there on the bed. We don't see his new body. We see all of his chins. Poor Adam. Like, imagine working out, and then they're like, "All right, I've the best scene for you." And Adam's like,
"Take your fucking shirt off." People get to see my new body, right? Right. We just want you to lay on this bed and look as ugly as possible. But anywho, so basically, they leave Louis with someone. I don't know who. Some like madam maid person.
Yeah, it just felt a bit weird to me. But nonetheless, I'm not a child protector or anything. And they go to hospital. And in hospital, we see that Ian goes, they ask who's the lady, and Ian goes, Cindy Beale. And then Lauren's like, "What? Cindy?"
I thought you were dead. Why the essentially, and this kind of leads into Lauren just like, why the fuck didn't you come back when Cindy died? What, you were never there for her? Why, like, because they had to have someone who was there at the time, someone who, Lucy was friends with. I said Cindy, I meant Lucy. When Lucy died, rather. When, like, obviously, they had to have someone who was there when Lucy died and was, like, friends with Lucy and Peter. So they would know the history. They would know, like, what the fuck? You were dead. You were supposed to be dead. And so, the big, like, blow off, like, really upset. And this kind of throws a spanner into her and Peter's, like, rekindling as such. And it just kind of, leads to more dramatic stuff in the episode, which you can continue, Biggie.
Excuse me, sorry, I had to take a drink. So basically, Lauren has a talk with Cindy about Lucy. I'm trying to remember all these names here, struggling.
You're doing a good job, mate. You're doing a good job.
I'm fucking sweating here, like, trying to think of all these names. I'm like that one individual, like when they do a police investigation and they have a massive chalkboard up and have our pin board and they pin all the suspects. That's like me in my head, like trying to figure out all these fucking names.
Yeah.
So Piggy, there's this character from the 50s. You must remember him. Big hit. And I'm like, I wasn't watching in the 50s. But anyways, Lauren's basically like, look, why weren't you there for Cindy? Or why weren't you there for Lucy? And then Cindy explains, look, I would have went back to jail.
Yeah, it's like I would have went back to jail or I would have been dead. And if I wasn't dead, one of my family would have been dead, and she made the sacrifice.
And also, she would have probably been found out by George Knight, which probably wouldn't be a good thing, because could you imagine being married to her and then realizing, you're wanted, and we had intercourse and we married. Oh no.
This is worse. Intercourse.
This is worse than the time I was a pilot in September 11, 2001. Ha ha! That's a Family Guy joke. For anyone who doesn't get that. Basically, so they have a back and forth conversation, and then Lauren storms off. They go back to the house, and at the house we see Lauren and Peter talking, and basically Lauren kind of understands now. I think she understands from what I got. And Peter really wants to make this work, and that's the end of their kind of thing.
Yeah, essentially, she kind of goes, listen, all right, Peter, as much as I am into this, it is just a fantasy, and she can't believe that he will change,
Yeah, and then basically we go back to the hospital, and then we see Cindy with Ian. Ian's looking at Bobby B's gram post, and for some reason I didn't know you could do this on the gram. You can turn your phone sideways and it goes full screen, unless it's not like like 3 slides in a video, unless it's actually just a video. But that's just a small detail that I wanted to point out. So he sees George Knight, Gina Knight, and Anna Knight. I got her right.
You did.
And this mysterious woman who looks like Fabulous Moolah, wouldn't want to look like her. She was a massive bigot to all the women wrestlers in the 80s. And basically he's confused. He realizes they're in Walford, and then Cindy's like, so we can go back to Walford if you want. Maybe you want to go back to Walford? And Ian's like, no, fucking hate Walford. Fucking sucked.
I never wanted to go back. It's a terrible idea.
And then basically, from what I assume, is that Cindy kind of knows, like, there is a catch here.
Yeah, there has to be a reason why he suddenly went, I'm not interested anymore.
And so basically, the final scene sees Peter coming out to Cindy, not actually coming out and going, hello ma, I'm gay, slay queen. No, not like that. He just comes out and has a conversation with her, and we see photographs of the past. Some I assume are photoshopped, some might just be photographed.
I think most are real.
Some might just be like on-scene photos that they took on set in the 80s and 90s. And basically from that, we see photographs, and Peter says, it's so good that you reunited. And then as he leaves...
I suppose just a key detail is she says... She kind of goes, you still love her, don't you? And then said, like, it's hard to like just turn those feelings off.
Mm-hmm. And then basically, is it A Kiss from a Rose?
Yeah, she plays A Kiss from a Rose by Seal, just like George.
So obviously this is going to lead into, if I can just add on, this is going to lead into when I presume that Ian will show up with Cindy at the wedding.
Yep.
And then they will go for drinks in Walford. Cindy will be found out by George, and then there might be that scene where Ian goes, Cindy, and George goes, Rose. And then Ian goes, Cindy, and then George goes, Rose. And then they basically grab her and try to pull her apart. I get one half, you get one half. Split her down the middle, 50-50.
Well, just to kind of say, and the duff of this is the fact that it's implied that Cindy still loves George, and she wants to be back, possibly with George. Maybe George is the one that got away to Cindy, from what we can tell. So that's why it's like a big, important deal. Like, they both play Kiss from a Rose. It's still there, like deep within. It's just buried between a lot of trauma and moving around and the witness protection.
Honestly, if they're going to keep Cindy, I can't see her staying with Ian for a long time. I can. personally, I can see George and I buying a property in Walford and moving in with Elaine and the girls. I can see that. I don't think
What?
they're
You mean
going
like
after.
the Vic?
No, I don't see them moving into the Vic because you'd have to.
Oh,
you'd
Ian
have-
rather.
No. I'm on about George. I can see George buying like a share in Walford, like an apartment or something, and moving in with Cindy and the
Oh,
girls.
so they they reunite as a family. Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
But knowing EastEnders, they probably won't go that route. They'll have George go, look, you were the thorn in my rose, but now I have the eclair to my Elaine.
Sound. No, I reckon there will be a lot of like unspoken "I miss you," but like you are my past, you know.
Yeah,
And then just kind of comes like a big proper decision.
Personally, now we already know the Christmas Day thing, someone dies.
Yes.
But I would love if the side plot is George says, so you have George, right? So let's just imagine the Carter.
Mate, I know what they're doing. I think you're going the same direction. They're
They're
having Christmas dinner together, aren't they?
Yes. So basically, I'll just say, so you have George night, you have Gina, Anna on one side with Elaine. On the other side, you have Kathy, Ian, Bobby, Peter, Lauren.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, at the bottom of the table, you have Linda and Tyson.
You also have Rocky in there.
You also have Rocky and fucking the two children, the one with autism. Ollie
and
Annie and fucking Louis. So the three kids are like at the kiddie table, and then basically on Christmas Day, Cindy's like, "Look, I love you, George," and then this will blow over. They'll have a bit of Mario Kart where they're like, "Don't hate you, but like, don't love you either." And then a kiss from a rose place again, and then we go to the wedding that I assume happens at night. So what I would love to see is that a half-hour episode happens on Christmas Day at 7:30, and then at 9 o'clock you have the watershed, so you can show like whoever dies gets stabbed or thrown off a cliff, like whatever they want to do. Because I could see that being a half-hour episode of the dinner, awkwardly sitting there, just this steak is lovely. It's almost like it walked out on someone and then this steak is lovely. It's like being told to fuck off and never come back and fall off a cliff.
I feel like
Gina's like, this steak tastes like bitterness between both of my parents. Just like, Bobby, you killed my half sister, and then Bobby's like, I'm just a quirky guy, guys. You don't understand. I'm just quirky. That's essentially it.
I like where you've gone with this. I do believe that they will have like a Christmas, like they will have to have dinner with each other, and it'll be awkward. But it'll be classic EastEnders. I feel like Ian and Cindy are still kind of the end goal, though. I don't see her being with George. I think there will be a lot of like unspoken like chemistry and love there, but like they both will have to realize that maybe we aren't like good together, you know, because obviously it's been said to be pretty like volatile and explosive, and they bring out the worst in each other. And I feel like Elaine and George are probably going to be together for a good while, and I feel like Cindy and Ian are going to be together for a good while.
What I could see happening is that throughout 2024, so this will lead into 2025. I know this is 2 years ahead, so I'm thinking way ahead. But what I could see happening is throughout 2024, we see Cindy and Ian being kind of like the Titanic. They're sinking, but like they're not basically the two main characters. Jack and Rose. And basically like they hate each other. And what I could see happening in 2025 is Cindy successfully killing Ian Beale for the 40th anniversary. So it'll be 40 years since Ian's been on the show, and it'll be 40 years to mark his death. I could see that being a possibility, that Ian is the one who dies in 2025 before the 40th anniversary. Because Phil's not really. You save him for the 50th. You know what I mean? Phil, you save for a monumentous occasion.
Yeah.
But Ian is like the starter. You can kill off Ian at any point, but like the 40th anniversary would be the proper way, or like
I mean,
like she does something Sharon never did and actually poisons him properly.
Yeah.
And he dies beside his mom. And then his final words are "Fuck you, Bobby, for killing Lucy," and dies.
That's probably not the way I'd do it. I'd imagine the 40th anniversary is probably going to be Kathy dying, if anyone.
Yeah, but it would be cool if it was Ian.
But it would be interesting. I feel like they're not going to kill off Ian. He's only just come back, and there's been a lot of wasted time. Clearly, I suppose since we're past the episode now, let's just reviewing it as such. Obviously, we'll go into more detail in the video that's going to come out. That has already come out at this point, as this is a podcast. It's a really exciting for the. When they say that they were bringing back Cindy and Ian, it's like, okay, this is interesting, but we aren't making waves here. Like, nobody on the square's tied to this family because they're all either dead or gone. But now they brought in best Peter actor Thomas Law, like iconic Peter. Ben Hardy was pretty good, but he's actually cracked the fucking code and is doing Hollywood stuff now, so he was never coming back. But Thomas Law back in the mix. Lauren there as well, teasing a romance still. Another character who has like really good roots within the show. And they're a family. They are a genuine family. They will move back together. They will make the Beale family actually feel like there's numbers there. They're beefing up the family, and it's exciting for EastEnders. Ian's back. Ian's just Ian. And listener, I don't care about anybody else. You missed Ian Beale. It's great to see him back on your screens.
The problem that, right, because we obviously do hate the previous writer, let's be honest.
The previous executive producers really gutted the show for all it was worth. Yeah,
because basically, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the previous writer did something that, like, it's written on a scroll, like, when architects find their dead bodies in 1,000 years' time, there will be a written rule on EastEnders. Do not mess up Phil Mitchell. Do not mess up Ian Beale.
Yeah.
And then basically the writer saw that and went, lads, do you know what would be fucking hilarious? If he just made Ian an insufferable dick who never gets his comeuppance and hates his child because he killed one of his children.
Yeah, like when Ian was last in there, he was despicable. He was a horrible person.
Like he killed it. Well, he didn't really kill a child, but he did kill a child. He
did lead to a kid being killed. Yes.
Like, and then people were like, but he was just misunderstood back then. No, he wasn't. The writer knew what he was doing and just made him awful. Like, it's like when your narcissistic friend describes you. So how is that? Well, he's a sexist. He's a racist. He's not like me, like, the greatest fucking person I know. Me. He's a complete tool. He's a sexist, not great in bed. Doesn't make food. Terrible. Like, it's like a narcissist describes you, basically. They just went, so what is Ian Beale? Well, he's a pussy. He's a dirtbag. He hates women. He hates his children, except for Peter.
Yeah.
And then they basically just went, all right, grand, we'll put that in a blender, put it on the button, and then bam. That's what they come up with, and that's how they ruined Ian Beale. They ruined Alfie Moon, and they ruined Ian Beale.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you can do it.
Yeah, it's actually quite an achievement to do.
I'm glad that Ian is back, but I hope, and I really hope, you do not go back to his 2023 trades, where he's just an insufferable dick. I need Ian Beale, where he's a pussy, but he's a smart man. Exactly. That's my favourite Ian Beale.
Like, Ian's never going to be your favourite character. That's established. Ian's nobody's favourite character. But when Ian's upset and when Ian's happy, you're happy for him. Like, you're proud. But yeah, 2019, like, and onwards Ian was pretty rough. But I suppose, let's just say it's also pretty exciting to see them bring back the characters with as much. They've given all the characters direction. They've given all of them their own little story, which we're gonna see follow up on in like future episodes. And that's kind of what they use. That's what they sometimes don't do. They bring in a family and then they're just there. But no, Peter's got his characterization down. He's got his story. Ian's got his characterization down. He's got his story, and Cindy's got her own little story as well. So it is big for EastEnders, and it's big for the Beale family. And by gassing them up and making them huge, is going to mean some really good time for the show. I've been saying EastEnders is the best it's been for a long time, and today's episode, or Thursday's episode rather, was a great example of it. The writer knows what he's doing, and it's going to be fantastic.
As I was going to point out, as I've been saying, I feel like post maybe January, February, because they were really dire months. Maybe it's because we just had Christmas and we had that post-Christmas depression.
Yeah.
Like how men get post-nut depression. You just had Christmas dinner. You check the telly. Oh, EastEnders is on. Oh, Stacey's giving out about money problems. Oh, there's a 12-year-old pregnant and it's a grooming storyline. Oh my god.
I mean,
oh no. Charlie has left the square. Oh look. Ricky's gone as well. Oh no. And then it picked up from that.
Yeah, they had to finish off the existing storylines and like breathe in the new life, you know. Because you can't go to like 100 miles per hour at all times. You have to ramp up. And there was a lot of setting the scene and a lot of building up till all the stuff that we're coming to see now. And that's why it's exciting, and that's why you should keep watching EastEnders.
I hope this new writer stays for at least another 5 to 10 years. I do not I want him to stay all through my 20s. Because I want to say my 20s were good watching EastEnders. I don't want to say my 20s were spent watching shit EastEnders while people were out drinking and partying, and I had to sit back and watch fucking Ian Beale character be right. And then my grandchildren are like, Piggy, why didn't you just go outside? Because I had a legal obligation to watch EastEnders, and they fucking ruined everyone I love. They ruined them. I've got nothing left. I don't care if he leaves when I'm in my 30s, but I just want this man to stay, because we have future storylines of characters that might not come back, but if they do come back, they do have characters. I don't know why I'm doing the fucking man from. I watched the song. Days Go By. I'm doing his hand movements off camera.
Yeah, I suppose it's the idea that we're in good hands, and that's the exciting part. But regardless, I reckon we now transition this over to the final thoughts and the award show. What do you reckon, Piggy?
I agree.
So, the final thought segment, probably the most undervalued segment of the show. Piggy, for a week of EastEnders, how did you find it?
What's funny is they delivered what they couldn't have delivered in February. This was what February's episode should have been. I know George and I couldn't be introduced in January because you wanted to bring in the fact that Mick Carter is supposedly dead, even though he's probably Cindy Beale. He's out in France smoking a big cigar. What a fucking bitch I had as a wife. Love my new life. And then they give Danny Dyer 50 grand to come back, and he comes back eventually. But I understand that. But these are what the episodes should have been in February. They hit home the fact that someone had a secret. He had no idea how his wife disappeared, and then Phil hits a brick wall, which is very rare for Phil to hit a brick wall, because usually when a brick wall is involved with Phil Mitchell, there's only two things that's going to happen to that wall. Either he hits his head first against that wall, or he fucking pounces that wall. He does the Monty Brown pounce, and he pounces right through that wall, and he gets the information. It's the only two things that happen when Phil sees a wall. So obviously we had that. We had poor Bobby Beale, being sad because, well, Anna laughed at him and friend zoned him. That's going to be awkward when she finds out that her half sister was killed by him. But that's Christmas dinner I'm excited to see. Not much else happened, but it was mostly about George and Phil and Linda and Callum. Callum was like there for 2 minutes. He was like he came for the karaoke and left straight away. He did not care for the rest. Obviously the minor storylines were basically preparing for Lola's funeral, which happens next Tuesday. We won't be doing live watching like we did this week.
We won't be doing a video we won't be doing a video after each episode.
We'll only do it for Tuesday. We'll live watch Tuesday and do after what we think happened, what we think of Tuesday's episode, because like it's Lola. Like if it was Bob down the road or Gay Dave,
Exactly.
but it's Lola. But yeah, so they're setting up for the funeral, and not much else happened besides that. We find out Wednesday that Cindy Beale was Rose Knight, and I was wrong. I just thought it was going to be a new character, but that's just me. It was very corny as well. A Kiss from a Rose was the song of Rose Knight.
Quite corny, I do agree, but I kind of love it. It's EastEnders hammy nonsense that you just love, in a way.
Could you imagine George like, yeah, this was our favourite song. Hold on, just give me a second. I have to Google the lyrics. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Jesus.
I forget the lyrics. Now this would make no sense because this song came out. This song came out after she left. So right, this is the song she loved. I will read out a few lyrics and see if you can get this. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This pussy wet, come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play, I wear a disguise. I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage.
I believe that is wet ass pussy.
The way I read it, I can do a full version of that when we end the podcast. Just me reading like a buff.
Whap, whap, whap. I suppose just to pick up where you left off. I do agree. This is probably what the 38th anniversary should have been. It should have been. This is these episodes, especially the last. Well, basically, Thursday's episode was a love letter to the Beale family. It was a true celebration of the characters, and puts them like flat and like firm and center to what we want to see. Because now you want to see what the fuck you want to see if Peter and Lauren are going to get back together. You want to see Ian and Cindy go back to Walford. You set the seeds and they are like growing fucking faster than anybody could ever expect. It's been a really good week, a good ramp up, and a way to really embroil a lot of characters in this drama that's going to come out whenever they get to the square. So probably in July, I would imagine. They get in for Kathy's wedding, and then we go from there. But it's going to be really exciting, and it's going to be pretty goddamn good.
And also, let's not forget that also there will be an intertwined storyline between Kathy and Rocky, because the divorce paper that Rocky signed wasn't an actual divorce paper. It was just like J.K. Rowling's thoughts on trans people was fictional. It's not real. Let's just ignore her. She's an old kid. She can fall on a stair. No care. She's fictional.
But yeah, I suppose. And with that, let's just continue on with our awards. Scene of the week, probably. I don't actually have one for this week. I'm just going to give it to Bobby singing, right?
For me, it has to be George and I bobbing away to A Kiss from a Rose while he called Rose fucking Knight.
He's like, because he did do it like he was a sad teenager who's like missing his crush. like post breakup, like I really do miss you, Rose. Let's play our favourite song. La da 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 da. Where? A kiss from a rose. Yeah, you know. The joke came across.
He's like there crying in the room, and all you hear in the background is, "I walk a lonely road, the only one I have ever known."
Yeah, if he had hair, which he clearly doesn't, would have been over his eye. Yeah, I suppose. And the scene I think you should watch. You honestly watch Thursday's episode for sure. It's one of the best EastEnders episodes of the year so far. There's been quite a few contenders, so do watch it. It was genuinely incredible. You can see our live reactions to it if you want a buddy to watch alongside. It was a fucking great time.
One thing I want to bring about the George and I thing, the only thing he didn't do was update his MySpace account and put just hard feelings.
Just put a really shitty profile story on a status on Skype. Ignoring is the sincerest form of saying fuck you.
Opinions are like arseholes. You don't listen to them.
But regardless, let's carry on and not have this podcast be too long. Underrated character. I would say Peter, but Peter's probably actually immediately become people's one of the most interesting characters on the show. I think it's good that he's been brought back and treated with respect rather than the last Peter, who just was a womanizer and didn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. They made previous Peter like the worst parts of Ian Beale, and that was just awful. So who's your underrated character, Biggie?
It has to go to, for me, I'm trying to have a think about this. I understand he's not an underrated character, but the fact he's back, it's like when you see an old mate you haven't seen in 10 years. He's not your favourite mate, but you'd have a pint with him. You know what I mean? It's that kind of mate.
You will spend a night down the pub just fully listen, right? I love you, mate. You've been so good to me,
Yeah, he's not like your favourite mate, but he's your mate that you like,
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree.
And it goes to Ian Beale, Adam Woodyard. Obviously, I would probably Woodyard. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'll just call him Adam. Obviously, we can get him for a cameo, which I want to do at some point because I want to get him to sing lyrics to A Kiss from a Rose. I just want to get him to read the lyrics out and see would he refund me the money.
It's lovely.
Yeah, but I'm so glad Ian Beale is back. I just do not want to see him ruined again.
Yeah.
They made good tracks of removing that previous scumbag's dirt off Alfie Moon and basically just meant spit in it and then basically washed it down. I just spat at myself doing that. That's wet ass pussy, baby. Yeah, hopefully they do the exact same thing with Ian when they spit on it. They
definitely will.
And just rub it and get rid of that dirt. But at least him and Bobby will have something to bond over, won't they?
They will. Oh, sorry about that time you killed my daughter. Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, what about that time?
Oh, Ian, you're so quirky. No, I'm fucking serious. Oh.
And then Bobby just responds, "But didn't you kill a child?" Cut. We can't mention that. Cut. Bobby, you were supposed to reply, "Oh, Dad, you're so awesome. You never killed a child." Wink, wink.
All right, next award. Been very, very glowing. A lot of praise. Let's go with the Steve Blackman Award, as this isn't really a praise award. It's given to the most wooden character, the
Or
ones
thing.
that you just or thing, the ones who they tried. They really did try, but they just weren't that good.
Oh, it has to go for me because I am a sucker for things that are wooden. Like basically what I mean is the house was just like it was that good wood. You know what I mean?
It was a proper classic, like lovely house, like all the beams everywhere. It was delicious.
It's going to that, like, and the wooden basket that Ian had his baguettes in.
Yeah, I'm saying the baguettes are the most wooden because they looked dry as a motherfucker.
They did.
Absolutely awful baguettes.
The problem is they probably had to refilm that scene about 5 or 10 times, and so like the baguettes were probably like, nice
fresh
and
at the
warm.
start.
And yeah, and then just like Cindy Beale's face over the years, they just started getting more and more worse. And about
always got to abuse the people. Stop abusing all the actors and actresses' faces, please. It's just,
it's not
fucking hell, they look shit. All right.
It's not as bad as what I said about Patchy Kenneth, though. Let's be fair.
True.
I'm not comparing her face to acid anymore.
Yeah. And I suppose the final award is which character this week needs slapping down?
Well, obviously it's got to be Linda, because like you're prying information that you won't get because he doesn't know the information.
Yeah.
It's like asking me who ate the last donut. I genuinely don't know. I thought you just accused me because you're fat.
Yeah. It's Linda has taken out all of her insecurities on George and has now like uncorked a whole lot more trauma that now he's got to deal with. That she didn't expect to find, but now it's on his plate. And maybe he didn't want some fucking sprouts that are left over. Maybe he just wants fucking nice Yorkshire puddings. Mm-hmm. That's a lane in this metaphor. But regardless, I suppose I'll just say it as a Vinny. Vinny's been a pretty. He's been a prick. He's been an absolute prick. Let me try control my mum into not being a lesbian anymore. It's not working, mate. It's not working. In fact, when you do something so much that, when you try to make someone dislike something so much, sometimes people just like it. People are contrarian like that. You say you don't like it. You say, yes, I fucking do. Smell my finger. So, but yeah, I think that wraps us up fairly nicely. So I have been Ash from Watching Walford, and I've been joined by Piggy.
And I've been residing from the pool Ian Beale was in, so it's a bit splashy.
And that has been the 25th edition of Watching Walford. Another week where we've extended our coverage to cover all of the episodes. And tell us what you thought. Do you like these weeks? Do you like the extra videos that we make? I can safely say we won't be doing it every week because, quite frankly, we've already got enough shit that we're trying to do. So yeah.
If you do want to know when we possibly will be doing our next watch along week, it will probably be Kathy's wedding.
Yeah, so, probably.
Yeah. So that'll probably be like in 4 or 5 weeks' time.
Yeah, we will try to do at least one a month because EastEnders usually has a week where they build to like all the storylines paying off, just as like principle for the channel. But we'll see as it goes. It'll be announced on the podcast, and the videos will be out on the channel anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the precipice of number 26, the halfway point of the year. And there will be an awards video that we will do, which will cover our picks for, some categories like best actor, best storyline. So watch this space. But fundamentally, thank you for watching the podcast, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.